So the Doobie Brothers' new album Walk This Road is out now, and it sees the return of Michael Macdonald. But how good is it? Let's get into it, shall we? A new Doobie Brothers album is always a special occasion, but this is doubly so due to the return of Michael Macdonald, that prodigal son, all plaid and denim. The last time he played on a Doobie Brothers record, if I'm not mistaken, was 1980's One Step Closer, a fractious album if I remember. But even without Michael Macdonald, which is the real news story here, this band had been chugging along, releasing albums. Core members Tom Johnston, John McPhee, Patrick Simmons had been releasing well-crafted albums, at least 4 I think. This California-based group had been moseying along quite a while now, because we all remember their 1978's hit Minute by Minute. Winning a slew of awards if I'm not mistaken. But of course it was 1973's high watermark. That is The Captain and Me, their third album, their most substantial and consistent album to date in my opinion. A study in contrasts, with, in the words of AllMusic, Tom Johnston's harder edge, bolder rocking numbers balanced by Patrick Simmons' more laid-back country rock ballad style. But Macdonald's return is welcome, of course, that smoky-voiced, blue-eyed soul that gives their sound its heart.
I wondered if I could ever write another song. You know, I just lost that mojo or whatever that is. And when you're younger, you know, and you're writing songs, you know, I listen back to a lot of stuff that I like or not so much, you know, and you go, but I remember when I was younger, anything I finished was like, oh, this is it. This is great.
This is the Doobie Brothers' 16th LP. And if their music is generally your cup of joe, I think you'll find this album warmly satisfying. Certainly one that harkens back to their late 70s heyday. Macdonald's shared vocals on Learn to Let Go, the chorus with Johnson and Simmons is just delightful and proof that this band have always been greater collectively than just the sum of its parts.
All right, guys, it's going to be a long night of Border Patrol, so I brought along Michael Macdonald to help us out.
How's he gonna help us?
He's going to do backup vocals for everything we say.
How's he gonna know what we're saying?
Know what we're saying?
Is he gonna do it for all of us?
Yes, he's gonna do it for all of us.
Yeah, I hired him for the night.
Yeah,
He costs like $2.50 an hour, so don't skip on the conversation.
Don't skip on the conversation.
And the opening track, Walk This Road, has a bluesy feel and features the wonderful tonsils of Mavis Staples.
Now we all want the same thing. It's high time we realize.
It feels like classic Doobies, a nice comforting reference to what they do so well. But then this is comforting music made for the times we now live in, referencing the world when it used to be sane, of course. Some critics have described this number as a throwback to their pre-McDonald period, including the wonderful aforementioned The Captain and Me. One critic said this strives for a balance of rock, soul and pop. It's certainly pristine Doobie Brothers fare. What's great about this album is it's so easy to find the reference points of that classic Doobie sound. We get the breezy mid-70s shuffle of Call Me and that funky full band workout and That Kind That Lasts. Plenty of riff-driven mid-tempo guitar rock with Here to Stay, all topped off with some prime-era soulful pop in Learn to Let Go. This is certainly a well-crafted album, and references the band's sonic shift from boogie bar band to the blue-eyed soul pop behemoths that we came to love in the late 70s. And if the Doobie Brothers over the last few years may have strayed, Walk This Road certainly brings them home again.
Yeah, and continuing to let each of us kind of express ourselves in our own way as a band. I think that's been a strength of this band in live performances. I always thought when we played live that the audience was getting something special from us because our songs were so eclectic and so diverse in styles.
And as much as I love the album The Captain and Me, I might have mentioned it earlier, there's no doubt the introduction of McDonald in '75 that gave this band their burst of success. And I feel like many, this may have compromised their harder edge bar boogie sound that they were famed for, surrendering their roughier, edgier music to go all Kenny Rogers on us. And that's being a bit unfair, of course. You do get the very gritty and blues-tinged Here to Stay Angels of Mercy with some exquisite guitar, a real throwback to when this band were the darlings of the California biker bar scene. La Haina, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's a wonderful tune. It's actually named after a town in Hawaii and features Mick Fleetwood. Not to mention the outstanding State of Grace, a wonderful song in which he states, "I wasted all my life living on memories." Well, haven't we all? James M. Barrie famously said that God gave us memories so that we can have roses in December. Call Me is an interesting one. This is Haunted by Dave Matthews, of course, and Here to Stay with a cappella vocals. Is a bit of a false flag for what the rest of the album sounds like. But just as you're about to settle down with your knitting, this album really starts to gallop along, like Steely Dan's Reeling in the Years on Amphetamines. And the kind that last adds a real testicular growl to the proceedings with its tough, swampy funk. In summary, I'd have to say Walk This Road is a fine, fine album, full of joy, bourbon and plaid shirts. But if the pre-McDonald Doobie Brothers is your cup of joe, then I think you're going to find a lot to like on this album. But I must admit I have a fondness for that classic blue-eyed soul that very much defined this band from the mid-70s. The tracks on this record are Walk This Road featuring Mavis Staples, as I've said, Angels of Mercy, Call Me, Learn to Let Go, State of Grace, Side 2 is Here to Stay, The Kind That Lasts, New Orleans, Speed of Pain, and Lahina. I might have said it wrong. Anyway, that features Mick Fleetwood. I think if you're a fan of the Doobie Brothers sound, you're really going to enjoy this record. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, please do click like, subscribe, and check that notification bell. Please share this video to others who may be interested. Help this channel build its subscriber base. And also check some of the links below this video for ways you can support the sterling work done at Classic Album. If you make a donation, buy me a coffee, or become a Patreon, we're building a fine body of work over there, and it's a real classic rock community. So anyway, I'll leave you with my closing salvo, which is hope you're well, staying safe, and of course that you keep listening.
So it's kind of a cool package. It's, looks like a road in California, Northern California somewhere. Walk This Road kind of represents the road we're all on. We're all walking together to get someplace, and eventually we'll get there.